Hello and welcome back to my podcast. My name is Becky. If this is the first time you're joining me, then thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're a returning viewer, then thank you for clicking on my video again. It's nice to be sitting down with a pile of knitting, and I've actually made show notes to hopefully keep myself like focused, but we'll see if that works. And yeah, I've got quite a lot to share with you today, so I'm excited to get in. So I guess I should probably just start because, like I say, I've got quite a lot to share. Links to everything that I talk about will be in the description box down below. So finished objects. I've not gathered everything that I finished since the last time that I did a podcast because, well, I've not finished that much, but also I can't remember where I got up to with some stuff, whether I'd like shown something half started, and yeah, I've just got what was easy to access when I was gathering things now. So the first thing I'm going to show you, definitely showed this on podcasts and in vlogs. You will have seen it if you watch my East Anglia Yarn Festival vlog, and I was going to wear it today but it's too warm today to wear it. That's my Anyday pullover by Ysolda. I have lost the ball band for the yarn, so I will have to dig around, and I'll leave the information down below of which yarn it is, but it's a really beautiful like wool tweed. It's got little flecks in it of like a mustardy colour. It's really nice. It's not scratchy on the skin. I do sometimes find it takes me a little while to sort of warm up when I'm wearing a wool jumper. Sometimes I find them quite itchy until I've like gotten used to it after a couple of hours, but this is comfortable, straight against my skin straight away. I was so eager to wear this that I've actually not sewn in all of the ends yet on the inside. I've sewn in all of the like cuff, like edge seams or edge ends, but I haven't sewn in like where I've joined new balls of yarn and things like that. I probably will at some point, but I've just been really enjoying wearing it. I think because when I finished it, and with the weather being like quite up and down, I really just wanted to wear it. I thought if I wait until I've sewn the ends in before I wear it, then I'm not going to get as much wear out of it as if I just put it on straight away. So yeah, I've been loving wearing this. It has been absolutely perfect for the sort of changing seasons. It's nice and warm under a coat, but it's also like on its own it's pretty warm, but it's not so warm that I couldn't wear it on like a slightly warmer day. So today it's like 18 degrees, it's too warm to wear it, but like I think it's supposed to be like 14-15 degrees the next couple of days, so I'll probably be wearing this quite a lot then because it will be nice and cozy. So yeah, really recommend the yarn, really recommend the pattern. It's quite a fun construction at the top, I seem to remember, and then it is just like pretty straightforward knitting, nothing complicated in terms of like any techniques or anything like that. Nothing more so than any other like pullover. There's some short rows I think, but I think that's fairly common now in a lot of garments. So I think if you're a garment knitter, then this is not going to like be any issue for you. It's a great sweater. It's really size inclusive, and like really inclusive, like not just for sizing, but also like how you want it to fit. So there's lots of options depending on like how you like your sweater to fit. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. The next thing I have to show you was my Advent knitting, or I got through the leg of both socks during Advent, and then I stalled at the heel, and it took me a little while to get back to that. So I finished these, I finished them pretty much at East Anglia Yarn Festival. I think I finished like the colours, and then it was just 2 toes to do at home, which I finished in like an evening. So yeah, finished. The yarn is Spin and Blether, Fleece Navidad, and it was great. It's a really nice wool. It feels like hard wearing but not scratchy or like unpleasant. It's nice. Feels like good sturdy yarn. Really love the colours. Like, I don't think they're like really Christmassy colours. They're really lovely, so they're going to be like a good all the time sock, not just like a seasonal sock. So that's really nice. And these socks have basically made me decide that I'm not going to knit a fish lips kiss heel in my socks anymore. I've been going through my socks and realising that the ones that I'm like reaching for are the ones that have got a proper like heel, flap, gusset, and yeah, the fish lips kiss heels has its place in certain situations, but you can't beat a heel, flap and gusset. So I think I'm going to say I'm switching to a heel, flap and gusset. I think I will do like a fish lips kiss heel if I do toe up socks, which I do very rarely, but if I do a toe up sock, I'll do a fish lips kiss heel. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm not convinced by the fish lips kiss heel anymore. Yeah, so I do have a couple of pairs of socks on with this heel, like on the go with this heel. Obviously I'll finish those with that heel. I'm not going to do a different heel for like a second sock or something like that. So there'll probably be a few more fish lips kiss heels coming up, but when I cast on new socks, I'm going to do heel, flap and gusset. It was my original heel and I'm going back to it, I think. Going back to it. It's really like, I used to think that it took me longer to do a heel, flap and gusset, but I think in some ways it actually makes the sock feel like it goes faster. Because I really think of socks like in parts, so like cuff, leg, then the heel and like gusset as all one thing, and then like the foot and the toe. And once you've like finished the heel and the gusset, you've almost finished your foot of your sock. So it's easier to break it down into those bits, whereas this feels like there's a lot of knitting in the foot before you get to have a sock at the end. So little mind tricks I play with myself to make myself feel like I'm knitting faster than I am. The pattern for that sock is just my like vanilla sock pattern that I just have in my brain from knitting socks for quite a long time. So, but then the fish lips kiss heel is a paid for like pattern. You can get it on Ravelry. I don't know if it's available anywhere else, but I'm sitting on a stool and it's actually not comfortable at all. Need to think about that for next time. I did finish another project, a pair of socks, and I have no idea where they have gone. It was my pattern, my bookshelf socks, and it was the pair I started for the test knit like 2 years ago, and I knit the one sock for the test knit to try it out, and then I was like, that's great, perfect, and then just put them away and didn't finish them. So end of last year I think I like cast on the ribbing and I finished those in February I think it was, and I packed them away to be given as a gift. Now I don't know where they are, so I can't show them to you, but they exist and I did make them and I finished them, and I need to find them because at some point the gift giving occasion is going to arise and I'm not going to know where they are. So they're still in the project bag I think, which is like it's like a green bag with mushrooms on it from Coffee and Yarn Cakes. I need to find those. There's some birds. We've got bird boxes like attached to the front of the house, and there's a bush tree thing opposite, and I can see birds like flying from the tree up into the bird box. I think they must have eggs or something, and they're flying in. I think they're blue tits, and yeah, they keep flying in and then they'll fly off again and then they'll fly back in. So it's really nice to see. Sometimes I just see this little tail sticking down like from my window. It's just really sweet because the bird box is literally like just above our bedroom window, so it's really nice to see them flying in and out. So be baby blue tits soon, which will be exciting. So how lovely. Okay, so that's my finished objects. So now I'm going to show you the projects I'm currently working on. I've had quite a sort of productive finishing up of things recently. I've really felt like I wanted to finish things, so I've been sort of mixing finishing things with starting new things, and yeah, I set myself some little resolutions, intentions at the beginning of the year, to knit more, finish more, and to buy more intentionally. So I think I said this in my EAYF vlog and haul video, that my if I was going to pick a word for the year, it would be intention. And yeah, so all of my knitting, I'm knitting more intentionally and I'm buying more intentionally. So, and it's felt really good. It's been really successful for me so far, and so I'm just going to try and keep going on that. So I'm in no way bothered by the number of projects that I have on the go at once, because I've got 4 or 5 here to show you, and that's not all of the projects that I have like on the go at the moment, but these are the ones that I have worked on most recently, and these are my the ones that I'm kind of thinking I'd like to finish, and there's a nice little mix of things to keep it interesting. So yeah, okay. First thing, I've put them all over there, which is like really not convenient at all, but there we go. First thing is a pair of socks, which I have been knitting for quite a long time, and it has got a fish lips kiss heel. But these are the second breakfast socks. Pattern is by Lindsay of Sock Witchery, and it's a really nice, really simple, textured sock that is really easy to remember, and then it's really easy to read when you're knitting it, so you can kind of really easily see what you're supposed to be doing, which I love. So this is the first sock. This has been finished for quite a while, and it's been sitting waiting for its friend, which I cast on quite recently and have made a little bit of progress on. These are really good, it's simple enough that I can knit it while I'm out and about, so that's really handy, but it's interesting enough that if I want to knit it at home when I want something a little bit more interesting, it's like best of both worlds. It's not too complicated that I can't pull it out for 10 minutes in a waiting room or something, but not so easy that I'm bored when I've got like time to knit, so it's perfect. The yarn is from Noodle Soup, and it is from her Myths and Legends yarn club, which is from a few years ago. Charlie did Myths and Legends, and they were local East Anglian Myths and Legends, I believe. These are another one that will be gifted, so, but less, well, I mean, these are going to be an urgent if I don't find the other giftable socks. These will be more urgent to finish, but provided I do find the other socks, these will not be an urgent finish. But yeah, and they are in my bag from the Fibre Fox. It's a spooky Halloweeny bag, which I really love. I don't think that they put a tag in, so I kind of just have to remember, but I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure, that this bag is from the Fibre Fox. It's got a nice flat bottom, a really like smooth drawstring. Sometimes drawstrings like catch, they're too tight or the cord isn't smooth, and these are really nice, and it's like enough space that you can like cinch it and then have your yarn coming out if you want to. So there's that pair of socks. Always got to have a pair of socks on the go. Oh, although I am a bit concerned because I did contrasting heels, toes and cuffs. I'm a bit concerned I'm not going to have enough yarn that's all I've got left. I don't think I'm going to have enough to do matching heels, toes and cuffs again. So I don't know if I want to undo the toe of this one and just knit it plain, knit it like in the main colour, so take the toe off and knit the toe in the main colour, or whether I think I'll get either a heel or a toe out of what I've got left, and so I might just do a heel and then not the toe, because the toe is like, you're not going to see it, are you? I don't think the recipient will mind if they don't match. I brought my little box of stitch markers up. It's quite full at the moment. Because I need to put a stitch marker on this project, and I thought I could pick one like now on the podcast. So in here is my Giddy Yarns advent calendar from 2024, and it's the Hogfather. I've just started this last night. I just wanted to use, because I ordered my first advent calendar yesterday. I say first, like I'm going to order loads. I've ordered an advent calendar for 2025, and I thought I should probably use some of my other advents, so I'm going to try and finish 2 advent projects before Christmas, and then I will have 2 advents from previous years and then 1 from this year. If I finish 3 advent projects this year, then maybe I'll get a second advent at Christmas. But we'll see how we feel about that later. So I just started a Habitation throw, and I have started making a Habitation throw before, and I didn't keep proper track of what I was doing, so I got really confused. So and I ended up like reversing it, so it was like the wrong side, the right side, and then the wrong side, and then yeah, and then the spaces between the eyelet rows was too narrow and then too wide. I hadn't fully decided how I wanted it to work because I was just doing it with scraps, so it was really like not good. So I ripped all that out, and I've started another one. It is DK, and the pattern calls for 4-ply, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think this is just going to be a really nice, big, cozy blanket. I got the DK 20 grams, 20 gram DK from Helen, and yeah, I love this first colour. I just really love it. I don't know if I'm going to really be able to show you. It's like getting really blown out on the camera. It might look better when you actually, like, in the footage, the camera often like, that's quite good. It's really sort of frosty purples and blues. It's really, really beautiful, so it's such a lovely one to start with. So I need to pick a stitch marker to go on this now. My children are downstairs feeling giddy. Oops. Right side. This is the right side. So I'm going to delve into my little box of wonder. And I feel like, I've got a couple of options. I could go for a Christmassy stitch marker, just because it is an advent, even though it's not Christmas. Or I could go for something that's kind of got like a festive feel, but isn't like overly festive. I've got this like little bauble that's full of like little stars. I'm not going to be able to really show you. You can see the stars. It's really nice. I might use this one. It's just a bit big maybe for the starting off with. Maybe I need to wait a little while till it's a bit bigger. I'm going to put this one on it. I'm going to do it. I think that's going to look really nice. I can always change it later or add another one. I can add them as I add colours and things like that. And I'm just going to knit. No, I haven't decided. I thought I'd decide what I was going to do with the colours, because I've got another blanket, which isn't, I'm not showing you right now because it would just be too much, but I've got another blanket on the go which is like leftover DK, and it's the Jelly Rolls blanket by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and so I don't know whether I want to just knit like 10-ish grams of this and then use the rest in my other blanket, or maybe knit a bit, because I need to get my thoughts in order. The thing that I don't like about the Habitation throw is that because you are increasing, you don't change yarn after so many rows. You change it, I think either the idea is that you change it when you run out, or however it works, you end up with quite a large section of like the earlier colours, and then in the middle it's really thin in comparison to the first few rows. So I don't know whether to do like the first few rows or the first like few bits of it with less yarn, and so I'd have quite a bit of like this one left over that I could put in my other blanket, or whether to just use like quite a lot of this in this. I don't know. I like the idea of having leftovers of this to put into another project, but then why it could all just be in this project. But then is the blanket going to be massive, because I'm going to end up then doing more, because my plan was kind of to knit Russell half of the minis to the middle and then half of the minis back out of the middle. So I wasn't going to knit it necessarily the size that the pattern says. I was just going to keep going until I'd used half of my minis, if that makes sense. But that could be huge. So I don't know. It might be too big if I do that. So maybe I need to sort of, in the early parts, maybe I could just use like 10 or 15 grams of the DK, and then I'll have 5 grams left. I can add little bits in to my other blanket if I want to. I'm gonna have to just see how it goes, I think. I think it's too early days to decide. That kind of important information. I can decide that later. By the next podcast, I will have decided what I'm going to do with that. So, the next thing I'm going to show you... Oh, do I want to show you this now? Yeah, well, I'll show you this now. This is something that I have been working on for... I don't know how long. Quite a long time. I've got... What is it? It must be a Homespun House advent calendar for 2021 or 2022. I can't remember. And I decided to make the Sea Glass Tea by Wool and Pine Designs, and I paired it with so the advent calendar, I'm changing colours every row, and but then each row has 2 colours in it, and one is the advent colour and one is the like background colour. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. I think you can just you could just alternate colours every time, so you might have like varied yarn and there would never be like 2 rows the same, 2 colours next to each other the same. But I wanted to have like a background colour and then have the advents like be the like the focus. I mean, I just think it looks really beautiful. I'm going to show it to you again in a second. So I had 24 mini skeins, but one of them was this brown colour, which I believe is barley. Yep. And I decided to cast on in barley, so I used that mini just to do the neckline, and I will use it for the sleeve cuffs and the bottom hem. So I have that, But then because I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough, I bought just a mini, like a 50 gram skein of barley just on its own, so that I knew I would have enough. Now I think I'm probably going to have more than enough, but I think probably come the bottom hem, this isn't going to be enough. So I think I made the right choice to buy. But that means there's only 23 minis in the main body, so I think I'll be fine. I'm not even thinking about the possibility that I might run out of minis before I've finished. And then the other colour that I'm using alongside the minis is a yarn that I dyed quite a long time ago. It's like a really autumnal browns, peaches and golds. Really, really pleased with how this one looks. I had 2 skeins of it, and again, I'm just hoping that it will be enough. I have made t-shirts for myself with, well, so I made a t-shirt with less than 24 mini skeins, just doing stripes, and I had leftovers and they were 20 gram minis. So, and I've made t-shirts for myself using just 2 skeins of yarn. So I think there's a like pretty good chance I'm going to have enough yarn, because you get the inside is also really pretty, although in the first few rounds I messed it up somehow, so mine looks a bit strange at the top, but then here it looks beautiful. And then yeah, I'm so pleased with how it's coming out. I can't believe I put it down for as long as I did. I know I made some really big mistakes. I mean, my first mistake was like starting the round in the same place every time with the colour changes. So I did that for a little while, and now I have switched to, is it helical? Where I'm kind of changing the yarn, like offset 5 or 6 stitches every round, and I'm liking how it's joining together a lot more, because you don't really get a spot where the yarns are like meeting each other for the first time, so they kind of overlap nicely all the way through. I've only done a few rounds of that, but you can sort of see where I switched. So here I was doing it the old way, and then here I've started doing it the new way, and you can just see how much like neater that start of round is. So that's still my start of round. Got my little hobbit door. That's still my start of round, but the colour is just changing in a slightly different place, and you really can't tell. And it's the back still, it will move round to the front, although I might switch it back again so that the colour changes are sort of moving side to side like this, and it'll always be on the back, so it's not really going to be seen. We'll see about that, I haven't thought about that yet, but I'm really, really happy with how that's going. So that was the first mistake I made, was joining the yarn in the same place every time. The second mistake that I made was whatever it was I did at the beginning here. I think I was like wrapping the yarn round itself, or like round the 2 strands, so that made the top bit look really odd, and it looks different on the front as well. Probably you won't be able to tell, but there's definite difference between the top when I was doing it the old way that I was doing it and now. But yeah, the other thing is how I've like woven in the ends. This is just going to be so bulky on the back, and then here I've like pretended the ends don't exist anymore. I think it's just going to be really bulky. I don't know how I would change that next time. I would be really nervous about doing magic knot. And honestly, I am not going to fray check, like put a little fray check on every single little knot. I'm just not going to do that. So yeah, I think I'm just going to have to sew in a lot of ends, but it'll be worth it because it's really pretty. The other mistake that I made was I missed out some increases. I haven't yet counted my stitches. I can't remember if I fudged it at somewhere along the way, and so I should have the right number of stitches, and my increases will just be in strange places. I can't remember, but once I've finished, I've got one lot of increases left to do, and then like some plain knitting rounds in between, because miraculously I was keeping track of what I was doing in the pattern, so don't know how I managed to make a mistake, but there we go. So I will count my stitches once I finish my next increase, and I'll try it on. It's on a nice long cable, so I can slip it over my head, can see if I think it's going to fit under the arms, things like that, and then just see if I maybe want to add an extra increase in, just to make sure, you know, if it's not the right stitch number. We'll see. It's been quite a long time since I measured myself for this project. I would probably, if I was going to knit a new one, I would probably knit the size up from this. So we'll just have to see how it fits. I think I just decided that it's going to be so beautiful of a thing that I can't bring myself to rip it out. I think the last time I spoke about this, I was trying to decide whether or not I was going to rip it out and do something else or just keep knitting it. Yeah. Given how like short the rows were at the beginning, I would just have like, you know, this much yarn, and I'm not going to be able to reuse that, and it would be such a waste of such a beautiful advent calendar. I'm just going to finish it, and we'll see. If it doesn't fit me, then, you know, I can frame it and put it on the wall or give it to somebody else. But, you know, I think it's just going to be so pretty. I just can't bring myself to do anything other than finish it. So yeah, and I'm quite enjoying it now. I think that I've stopped stressing about it. I'm really enjoying it again, because I think when I was like really caught up in the fact that I wasn't happy about this and I wasn't happy about that and I can't believe I did this, that and the other, I was just like, oh, I don't want to knit it anymore, so I just threw it down. But now I'm just like, who cares, it's going to be beautiful, let's just finish it and see how great it looks. Okay, I think that's enough about that. I think that's enough about that. In here is a project that I talked about in my East Anglia Yarn Fest vlog, with yarn from Eden Cottage Yarns. Yep, just checking I was right on that. And it is my Birds of a Feather shawl by Andrea Mowry. There we go. Here it is. It's looking really pretty. Really, really pleased how it's turning out. Hoping that this will block out nice and flat. I think it will. I think the only thing I would say is I was hoping that this would be like bolder tweedy bits, and also they fall out quite easily. They're not like, you know, a couple of them literally just as I was knitting it, they just like disappeared. That is my only thing about this yarn. It's just that like delicateness in more ways than one of those tweedy bits. I still really love it. It's so soft. The mohair, or it's not mohair, what is it? Suri? Baby suri and silk. It's so soft. It's so soft. So I really love it. I love it anyway. I love how it is turning out. But yeah, I would have liked just a little bit more definition in those tweedy bits. But yeah, really, really beautiful. Lovely pattern. Straightforward. I'm just a bit worried that now that it's getting warmer, it's going to be too warm to knit with the fluffy stuff, but we'll see. Just got a little cloud stitch marker on it for now. Might put something else on it later. I really like that. So yeah, really love how this is turning out. And it's a little bit of brain. Needs a little bit of brain, but not a lot of brain. So that's nice. There are some lace bits coming up, which will need a bit more brain, but that'd be nice too, because I've got quite a lot of reasonably simple stuff on the go. So everything's pretty straightforward really. It's mostly just knitting and thinking about like increases and things like that, but that's fine. I can do that. Although not if my Seagrass tea is anything to go by. So that is it for knitting content. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with what I'm working on, what I've got finished recently, I feel like I had a real dip in my knitting mojo for a really long time, and I was trying all sorts of things to try and get myself to be back to knitting, and I think in the end I just realised that I just needed to allow myself a little bit of time to not knit. And you know, I worked here and there a little bit on socks and things like that, and then just slowly my desire to knit came back. And I think actually having works in progress that were nearly finished on the go was really good for me, because it meant that when I kind of felt like I just needed to achieve something, you know, I could just quickly throw a toe into a sock and be like, oh, that was great. So yeah, I'm thanking my whips for encouraging me back to knitting. Yeah, that is it for knitting. There's not really a lot of life stuff to update on. I think I must have talked about Rory's hip. He's got something called Perthes disease. I think I've talked about it before, so I won't go into like major details. But it is causing him a lot of pain and discomfort, and that is still an ongoing issue that he's having. And it was in one leg and now it's in the other leg. So we did have to make quite a big decision to take him out of his like nursery setting, because it was an outdoor environment. It was very like physically challenging for him, and he was like not going quite often because he was in too much pain. So we had to make the decision to take him out of that, which meant that I had to stop working, which I finished last week. And yeah, I did my training with that setting. I was at the same setting that Roy was at, studying for my level 3 in early years, and I finished all of that. So it kind of was an okay time to leave. You know, I'd not long finished my course. I'd worked a little bit past the end of my course, so it wasn't just like, thanks for the course, see you later. You know, so I left on good terms, which is nice because it means that there's the chance to go back. I haven't like burnt any bridges, and they understand completely why I feel like I need to leave, because they've seen him. They know what it's like because he's been in on days when he's been in pain, and so they get it. So that was really nice as well. So it was really nice having sent him and working in the same place, because yeah, I don't know, I feel like places that I've worked in the past, if I said, oh, I'm gonna have to leave because my son can't go to his childcare anymore, they'd just be like, oh yeah, whatever, find a different one. Whereas, you know, that this setting, they knew they were doing everything they could for him, and it was just not going to work. So, and because he's a bit older, he could have gone to school in September, but we decided not to send him to school in September. So he would be too old to go to a different setting, unless they offered that reception year. And most like mainstream nurseries don't offer a reception year, at least not around here. So yeah, a lot of like alternative's not the right word, but like forest schools, Montessori, like non-mainstream, they offer it, but either they're like crazy expensive and they have to go loads of days, or it would have been exactly the same problem because it would have been a challenging atmosphere for him, so, or environment, challenging environment. So that was the decision we had to make, and it's all fine. You know, he is doing so much better being at home, and I can manage his pain better at home, and we can have like slow days when he needs a slow day, and then we can go out when he's got a bit more energy. We can go swimming and do all those things that we were struggling to do while I was working. So yeah, I feel like last week felt like I don't know, leaving a job because not because you didn't like it, but because of other circumstances. It kind of felt like a bit of a I don't know how to explain, I don't know what words to use, but last week very much felt like, this week has felt a lot more like, this is our new normal, this is what weeks are going to be like now. So yeah, and then because we are home educating our eldest, we'll home educate Rory, and this will just be our life until they don't need to be home educated anymore. So yeah, it's been a really nice week actually. So, and the sun has definitely helped. I don't think it's rained for like 2 weeks or something. It's great, I love it. So nice warm day today. I was in shorts earlier. I only changed because I had to pick Aiden up from his forest school, and even though I wasn't like disappearing off into like deepest woods, I was still like really worried that I was gonna get a tick like on the walk from the car park to the gate. So I was like, quick, put long trousers on just in case. So yeah, I'm really paranoid about getting ticks. Like, I'm doing my forest school training, I spend a lot of time in the woods, and ticks are like a huge fear. And it's not because I'm worried about getting ill from having a tick. Obviously I wouldn't love that. I'm just don't like the idea of a tick on me. Just thinking about it makes me feel gross. So yeah, anyway, that is everything for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for continuing to join me even with these huge gaps in my uploading. But I really appreciate it, and I love it when we interact on Instagram, and like I love interacting in the comments. I need to go back and reply to some comments on my EAYF vlog from last week, but I will do that. And then yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you soon with updates on all of these projects. Yeah, okay, see you next time, bye!